Really quick here, I want to get your thoughts on this list of lowest rated Marvel movies. So this is like, actually looking at the list here, I don't think there's any MCU movies on here, which is interesting. But anyways,
that's fair. They're talking about all Marvel movies.
All Marvel movies, even still. It's interesting.
Okay, what's the? Are you starting at 10?
Yeah, starting at 10.
Is this the worst?
This is the best of the worst.
The best of the worst 10. Got it.
Yeah, well, yeah. So number 10, which is the best on this list, and then number 1 would be like the absolute worst, what they consider to be the worst Marvel movie ever. Number 10 is Ghost Rider. And Ghost Rider is not good, but I feel like I can think of 10 movies that I detest more than Ghost Rider.
I haven't seen Ghost Rider in a long time, but with those movies, I also feel like it depends on how you're going to look at it, right? Because like when Ghost Rider came out, our selection for superhero movies was not great.
No,
I feel like if Ghost Rider came out today, it'd be like Blue Beetle, you know, where it's just like, this is fucking absolute garbage. There is an element of that where it's just like what we expect from a superhero movie now is just way. I mean, the expectations have gone up and up and up because for many, many years, love him or hate him now, Kevin Feige has given us a fucking smorgasbord of here. Look at these delectable fucking movies, and like it used to be that even the B tier was the Fox movies.
Yeah,
and like even they were cranking out like Days of Future Past,
right?
You know. X2 was, I mean, X2 is fucking tremendous compared to a lot of movies.
Yeah.
Shit, back in the day, we thought X3 was diggity dog shit. And then now you're like, that ain't even the worst or next to worst X-Men movie.
True.
And like, if you want to go bring it on down to like movies with mutants in them, it barely cracks bottom 5. It debatably cracks the bottom 5.
Yeah.
Because I would argue that Apocalypse, New Mutants, fucking
Dark
Phoenix are all worse than that. And X-Men Origins. I think all 5 of those are worse movies.
You know what? I'm almost with you. But I would take the first 10 minutes of Origins.
No, you got to get the whole movie. You got to watch the whole thing.
I can't just cut it off like at a certain point I got to watch the whole thing.
You know, we thought that scene where he blows up the helicopter in Origins, when it came out, we thought that shit was badass. But if you watch it now, it's just the cheesiest. It's almost like a parody of itself.
It is.
Yeah.
Because now when you see like the slow motion walk off from the explosion, it's like it's a comedy bit now.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Number 9, and they're not clear on this one. It just says The Punisher. Now there's been 3 The Punisher movies.
Yeah.
But the most popular one is the 2004 Thomas Jane Punisher movie. I assume they're talking about that one, but I'm like, that movie wasn't that bad. You know, it was generic, and it could have been called anything. It had to be called The Punisher, but...
Okay, yeah, you're right. I mean, I would take that over Ant-Man 3 for sure. Thomas Jane Punisher, yeah.
Number 8 belongs on the list, Blade Trinity.
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That movie's fucking terrible.
It is terrible. That was not a good time for anyone, especially Wesley Snipes.
We were kind of doing the thing, me and the homie Dylan and the homie Oz, and the homie K, actually. We were kind of talking about, like, would you want to be a vampire or werewolf? Like, if you got to pick, like, what would you get turned into? And I was like, what mythology you're talking about? Is this True Blood rule?
Right.
And I'm like, I pretty much in all scenarios would want to be a vampire, unless it's any universe where Blade exists. In which case, I'll take werewolves.
Yeah.
And then I was like, somebody was like, well, what about like the originals? I don't know if you know much about that, but it's basically like the original vampire family. And they were like, I don't think Blade can kill an original. I was like, No, but he can lock you in a coffin full of silver and drop you in the fucking ocean to burn for all the rest of time. Like,
Right. It is not beneath him to do such a thing.
right. Yeah. I was like, I'll take werewolf if Blade
Right.
exists in whatever this world is. Otherwise, vampire.
Speaking of which, man, this Blade movie is cursed.
At this point, I think they should just say fuck it, and they should do like a Eddie Murphy type thing where Mahershala Ali like writes, directs, and stars in the movie, and like he plays like every character basically.
Oh, I thought you meant they should do like the Dolomite movie, where like Eddie Murphy, he plays Dolomite in the movie. It's about the making of Dolomite.
Yeah.
Like they should do that with this Blade movie. It's yeah.
Yes.
Number 7. I'm curious to get your thoughts on the placement of this. X-Men Dark Phoenix.
Nah, Dark Phoenix is definitely worse. Oh well, no, Dark Phoenix is worse than any of the movies you've listed thus far.
But that means that there are 6 movies according to this
There's
list that are
6
worse.
movies that are worse. I'm gonna assume that Morbius is on there because it's worse. Oof. Yeah. All right. What's the next number?
Number 6, Ghost Rider 2.
Okay.
Have you seen that one?
It was awful. Yeah.
It was. It had Idris Elba in it. That counts for something, right?
Sure. Sure.
It was bad though. It looked like a music video on acid.
I watched back through the newer Star Trek movies the other day. Mm-hmm. I totally forgot he was the villain in the third one.
He was, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember Benedict Cumberbatch being the villain in the second one. Khan. Yeah.
Worst kept secret ever. They insisted over and over. Khan's not in this.
Yeah, I mean that's up there with Jason Todd not being in Arkham Knight.
Right? Yeah. The second movie is awful in that trilogy. Even with Benedict Cumberbatch in it, like it's just so poorly done.
It was like they kind of missed a lot of the points of like the original Khan movie.
Yeah, and Star Trek in general.
Yeah. Oh well.
And I recently also watched back through the Men in Black movies. Not international. I have better things to do with myself. But I forgot how awful the second one of Men in Black is too.
That goes back to like what you were saying earlier about like superhero movie selections. Like, Men in Black. The first one I think is by far the best.
I think 3 is right behind it.
It might be. You know what? I've actually never seen 3 all the way through.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I know,
dude. It's fucking
Josh Brolin.
Imitating Tommy Lee Jones.
Right.
It's fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
3 is easily the like it's like 1, 3, and then drop through the floor. And then
international is.
I can't even bring myself to. I just envision international is just the second one, but with worse leads.
That tracks.
Because at least in the second movie, like Will Smith and or Tommy Lee Jones is typically on screen at the same time, or separately.
Their chemistry gets that movie like any grace that it has.
Yeah. They were so good together.
They
actually.
are.
Yeah. Anyway,
number 5 is Morbin time. Morbius.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So there's 4. Okay. All right.
Number 4, Pepsi. I mean, Madam Web.
That's fair.
Yeah,
all right.
Yep.
Yeah. Madam Web is super fucking terrible.
It is. Number 3, Howard the Duck.
Okay.
Which, I can't be mad at that.
Right. Okay.
Number 2 is Elektra, which, again, that is an awful movie. I don't know. Is it worse than?
I don't. Yeah, I was gonna say belongs on the list, sure, but like I think Howard the Duck, Morbius, Madam Web, and Blade Trinity are all worse than that movie.
I would agree. Yeah,
Blade Trinity's fucking terrible.
It is. I think maybe one reason why Elektra is ranked so low. Partly it's because it deserves to be ranked lowly. It is not a good movie, but I think also a lot of people saw it without realizing, oh, I got to watch Daredevil first.
Right? Yeah, yeah. They didn't like come out and call it like Daredevil Elektra or anything like that, or like Elektra, a Daredevil story,
right?
Or, any of that shit.
Yeah,
they weren't thinking about franchises back then.
They weren't. There was an attempt. And number one, would you care to guess what number one is?
This is Marvel specifically. Mm-hmm. The 1990 Captain America.
It's a good guess. It is not on the list, surprisingly. I think they forgot about it.
They forgot about it, yeah.
Number one is 2015 Fan Four Stick.
Okay, that was going to be my second guess. That's fair. Yeah. Fan Four Stick. What was number two? Was that Elektra?
Yep.
Yeah, it's definitely better than Fan Four. Yeah, I don't know, man. I think I would put. No argument for me on the bottom of the list. For me, it'd be like Fan Four Stick be at the bottom, and then I would say probably Howard the Duck right after that. Mm-hmm. No, Fan Four Stick, Blade Trinity, Howard the Duck. Blade Trinity is awful, and then like rounding out the top five, Madam Web and Morbid Time, and then Dark Phoenix is right after that.
Yeah. They clearly made a mistake because 1990 Captain America definitely belongs on this list.
Absolutely.
And
they clearly cut it off at some point.
Yeah.
What, 99 probably when Trinity, was that Trinity come out in 99?
It was early 2000s.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's the oldest. Well, no, Howard the Duck's on
Howard the Duck, yeah.
So yeah, they just forgot about that fucking awful atrocity of a film. So here's a question. I'll ask you before we move on.
Yep.
What movie on that top 10 would you have 1990 Captain America replace?
For me, that's easily The Punisher. Take The Punisher off the list.
Same.
Put that atrocious Captain America movie there. That's one of those movies where it's like, I don't know if let's say that for whatever reason I had to watch and review that movie by myself. I don't know if an episode goes up that day.
Yeah.
I don't think I could do it.
I think you gotta. I'll be honest, man. You said nothing from the MCU was on there, and like that got me thinking. I could put at least 5 more movies on there before I got to an MCU title. So, because I would absolutely put Venom 2 up there before I'd get to anything in the MCU. I would probably say the second Fantastic Four, the Fox one. I would put Apocalypse on there. X-Men Origins.
Yeah, see, those movies you name, and I think that they're in a lot of stiff competition with some of the worst MCU shit.
I don't know, man. That's tough.
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't seen Secret Invasion, so. But if we're strictly talking movies. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's a while before you start getting to the MCU.
I mean, maybe so, but for me, it also gets to a point where it's like, it's so bad that I just.
Yeah, because you do have to throw New Mutants in there. You got to throw X3 in there.
Yeah, you got to put all those in there. That's true.
Yeah, all of the you got to put Spider-Man 3 in there. Everything Sony has ever made, basically, except for like Spider-Man 2.
I don't go that far, but also it's like you look at, with the exception of like Dark Phoenix, most of these movies are like 20 years old or older.
Yeah.
And Morbius and Madam Web. Like, take those 3 out, and it's like they're all pretty old, and Fan Four Stick. Yeah.
Madam Web definitely belongs on there. Also, you got to throw the Daredevil movie in there too.
If you're gonna put, it is better than the Election movie, but not by much. They made that Daredevil movie like they thought we're never gonna get another shot at this. So let's put Kingpin, Bullseye, Elektra.
What do you think is the worst MCU movie?
The worst MCU movie.
The thing that comes to my brain would be Ant-Man 3.
I was thinking Ant-Man 3.
That or Captain Marvel.
I mean, I have a very soft place in my heart for Captain Marvel.
I think you're confusing that for your asshole.
Oh, yeah. My bad.
I know anatomy wasn't your strong suit.
Yeah, it wasn't, yeah.
But that's not where your heart goes.
Yeah, and you know what, though? Like, with Captain Marvel, a part of it is just that Marvel did, like, a genius move with that movie, and I never fully gave them my trust back after that.
Yeah.
Just the whole idea of making you feel like, hey man, you gotta see Captain Marvel before you watch Endgame. Like, this is just it's gonna tie things together, and I was like, motherfuckers, y'all lie like hell.
Yeah. Yeah.
This shit was not necessary.
Agree. Yeah, Ant-Man 3, I think that takes the cake for me. But Iron Man 3 is right there with it.
Iron Man 3 is
Awful.
very atrocious. I always recoil whenever I talk to someone who really enjoys Iron Man 3.
Yeah.
And I have to ask, like, why? It's like when people tell me they like Ragnarok, I don't recoil like that because I understand.
Right, I understand why.
Yeah, I get the appeal behind it. It's not for me, but I get it.
I can turn my brain off, melt into the couch, and enjoy Ragnarok. I think the fight with Thor is very fun. There's a lot of great jokes in it. The best joke in the whole movie is the shit where Bruce Banner is like, I'm gonna summon the Hulk, and he jumps out of the plane or whatever. And
yeah,
yeah, that's a great fucking joke.
That is the best joke. That genuinely made me laugh.
Yeah. It's the best part of that whole movie to me. That or when Surtur shows up at the end and literally blows up everything.
Yeah. But that's a problem with that movie, though. It's like, that's hilarious. It shouldn't be.
No.
Solely looking at the script or like the plot of this movie, half of this shit should not be funny.
Yeah, if you take it completely out of the MCU, like watch it as a standalone, like LOL Thor movie, then I can enjoy it if I don't think about it at all. As soon as I am like, I'm actually a functional human being. I'm like, man, it's kind of trash right here.
But Iron Man 3 is like, I don't see why people like. Okay, there are diehard Shane Black fans out there, and I think that those are the ones who really dig that movie. I guess it is more of a Shane Black movie than an Iron Man movie.
And I really wouldn't know, man, because I've never watched another one after that. And I won't. If they got Shane Black to direct the Mistborn movie, I wouldn't watch that shit.
We find a way to get you in there, even if we had to trick you. You'd watch that fucking movie.